Welcome back to another tutorial. Today we are going to create a 2D draft file for this bracket part using Siemens NX. And this will be the final draft file for our part. So before we get into it, make sure you are subscribed if you haven't, so you don't miss any tutorial upload in SolidWorks and Siemens NX. And leave a like on this video if it helps you out. If you want more tutorials in SolidWorks and Siemens NX, make sure to head over to my channel. There are more videos, tutorials, and even playlists that can help you out. Now let's get into it. So in order to start drafting, you have to search for the drafting tool. It should be under applications, or better still, search it in the command finder and click on it. Now there will be a pop-up window to select any sheet size you want. So we use a template and then we go with the A2 sheet size and click OK. And this will take us to our drafting workspace. So you close any pop-up window that appears. And this should be what we have. So by default, Siemens NX gives us a title block to use. So if you want to use this title block for your drafting, just have to come to Drafting Tools and click on Populate Title Block, and then feed in the information inside this title block. So first issue, let's say I put in today and press enter. You can see that it appears over here. So if you want to use this title block, you can edit the information inside it. However, if you want to create your own title block, click on Close, and then come to View and click on Layer Settings. Now uncheck every box under the Visible Only, and then check this box besides the 256, or any box that appears over here. Check it and click on Close. Now you can click on this title block to select it and delete it. Next, you create our own title block. So you come to Home and click on Tabular Notes, and then you specify the rows and columns for the title block. So you are going to use a title block with 2 columns and 5 rows and a column width of 120. And then you have to specify the height for the text. So click on Settings, and then the height for the text changes to 6. Close. And this will be the title block. So make sure the anchor is set to bottom right, and then come to this bottom right here and drop it. Click on it to drop the title block and click Close. Next, you have to merge these two cells, and the last 2 cells also. So move your cursor on top of one cell, click and drag the mouse to the other cell to select the 2 cells. Right click and click on Merge Cells, and do it for the second set of cells and the last set of cells. Now we have this as our title block. So you have to come to Drafting Tools, click on Define Title Block to define this title block as the title block of our drafting file. So click on the block and click OK. And then you have to specify the information inside the title block. So we come to Populate Title Block and then fill in the information. Press enter and click Close. So this will be our title block. Next, you have to come to Borders and Zones to edit our draft sheet. So the width of the borders, change it to 10. When you click on Apply, this is what appears. Now the centering and orientation marks, the horizontal mark, which are the arrows that appear over here. We change the horizontal one to lines for the left and right, and the vertical also to the bottom and top line. Click on apply, and this is what we have. So these are all lines on all four sides. Now we don't want any trimming marks, which are these marks over here. So uncheck the trimming marks and click on apply, and they disappear. And then under margins, which are the margins between this sheet and this space here, we make them all equal 10. Click on apply, and this is what we have. And click OK. So this is the template of our draft sheets. You can edit it to suit your preference, but basically this is how we can edit our draft sheets. Next, we have to add our views. So the first view, we come to home, and the first view we are going to add is the isometric view. So click on base view and specify the model view to use as isometric. And we use a scale of 1.5:1. So we have some scales here, but 1.5:1 isn't inside. So click on ratio and change to 1.5:1. And then move your cursor here. Click to drop the view. Click close. So the main reason for adding an isometric view is so that anybody looking at this draft file can see how the block actually is if they cannot interpret the views that will be placed over here. So again, we have to add 3 views, and we are going to use the third angle orthographic projection. So the front view should be at the bottom here. Besides it, on the right side, we have the side view, and on top of the front view, we have the top view. So we are going to use the front view to generate the 2 other views. So again, click on base view, and the model view to use, we use the front view, and with a scale of 1.5:1, drop the front view over here. Click to drop, and then you move your cursor to the top to automatically generate top view. Click to release, and then you move your cursor to the side here to automatically generate the side view. Click to release and click close. Now we can readjust our views for a neat presentation. Now the next thing we are going to do is to add dimensions, and we'll be done with our draft file. So before we add some dimensions, you have to set some preferences. So come to menu, preferences, drafting. And the first setting we are going to do is to come to line arrow, which will be the dimension lines, and then you change the width or the thickness of the dimension lines to 0.13 so that the dimension lines can be thinner than the actual drafts or drawing lines to differentiate between them. Next, you come to view and workflow and uncheck this border display so that there can be no borders around these views, as we can see. So click on apply, and the borders disappear. Next, we come to dimension, and under dimension text, we change the height of the dimension text to 6 so they can be visible. And then under center lines, we also change the thickness of center lines to 0.13 millimeters, also to differentiate it from the actual drafting or drawing lines, and click OK. So we are now set to add dimensions to our draft file. Now the smartest and the best way to add dimensions to our draft file is to try and follow the order in which we'll use to model this block, and then dimension in that order. So if you want to see how we can model this block using Siemens NX, I have a video on it in the top right corner. There is also a link in the description. You can go and see how we can model this block, and then we take on from here. So in order to model this block, we first model a base rectangular block, and the rectangular block should have a length which is in this direction, and then a width in this direction, and then we extrude as the height. So as much as possible, we want to keep most of the horizontal dimensions on the front view and the vertical dimensions on the side view, and some dimensions that we cannot get both on the front view and the side view, put them on the top view. So for the rectangular block, we want to dimension the length on the front view, and then the width on the top view, and then the height of extrusion on the side view. So click on the linear dimension, and then to add dimensions, just click on this line to get the horizontal dimension. Click to drop, automatically the dimension will be there. And then the width, click on this point and this point, and automatically the dimension will be generated. Click to release. And then the height of extrusion, click on this point and this point to automatically generate. Click to drop, close. Next, we cut out this feature from here. So on this face here, which is on the front view here, we draw a rectangle of this length and this height, and then we extrude. So to get the length, put it on the front view so you can zoom in, and then click on this line to automatically generate the dimension. Click to release. And then the vertical dimension here, as we said earlier, we want to keep most of the vertical dimensions on the side view here. So we have to make sure there are some hidden lines that can appear here. So to make sure hidden lines appear, just move your cursor here, click on it, come to settings, and then come to hidden lines and change it from invisible to any line we want. So we use the dotted line, click apply. And we can see that the counterbore and other hidden lines all appear. So we want to get the height of this cut here, which will be here. So with the linear dimension, click on this line and this line, and automatically the height is 7. So click to release, close. Now after getting this rectangle, we extrude in this direction, and it will be convenient to get it on the top view. So we have to also make sure the hidden lines appear. So again, click on settings, we change it from invisible to dotted lines and click OK. So as we can see, this cut extends to the end of this block here. So there is no need to add a dimension since it is through all. Next, we draw this feature, this semicircular feature and the rib. So you're going to first dimension this arc. So click on radial dimension and then change the method to radial. Click on this radius and drop the dimension. And from the radius, we can automatically get the horizontal dimension here, which will be the diameter of this arc. And for the height of this block, we're going to use the linear dimension, and on the side view, click on this point and this point here, and automatically drop the dimension. And then we extrude in this direction. So on the top view, click on this point and this point to automatically get the distance of extrusion. And then for the rib, it starts as a tangent line, ends on this corner, and comes here to this corner. So there is no need to add any dimensions. And then we add the extrusion dimension, click on this point and this point, and drop, and click close. Next, we have to add this cut also. So again, just as we did for this top here, with the radial dimension, get the radius of this arc and the vertical height of this whole cut here. So with the linear dimension, the end point of this hole is on this point. So click and click here, and automatically the height of this hole is generated. Now we have to position the hole very well. So the hole is positioned from the top at a distance. So click on this point and this point and drop it at a distance of 13. And then you have to make sure this hole is centrally placed. So you have to come to the top view here and add a center line between these holes. So you come to center line or center mark and click on 2D center line. And then click on this point and this point here. And there will be a center mark or a center line that automatically generates, and click OK. So the distance from this center of the hole to this edge here, we can dimension it. So click on this center line and this line 20 millimeters and click close. And now we move on to this fillet edge here and the counterbore hole. So for the fillet edge, we have to use the radial dimension. Click on this arc and automatically the radius will be generated. So click to release. And then the last thing we are going to dimension is the counterbore hole. So in order to dimension a hole, just come to the method of the radial dimension and change it to hole callout. Now move to this counterbore hole, click on it, and automatically all the dimensions on the counterbore hole will be generated. So click to release. And now the isometric view is just here so that anybody viewing this draft file will know how the block is actually, if they cannot interpret this third angle lithographic projection. So you have to make sure it is fully shaded. So click on it, click on settings, and then come to shading, and then change the rendering style to fully shaded. Click OK. And we can readjust the dimensions. And yeah, that's how to create a 2D draft file for this bracket part using Siemens NX. I hope this video helped you out. And if it did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, turn on post notification, and let me know in the comments if you have any problems in Siemens NX drafting or even modeling, and I'll be willing to help. I'll see you in the next tutorial.